In a globalized world where economic forces are gradually shifting, the idea of the US dollar as the dominant currency is becoming less and less relevant. Two giants, India and China, have made a bold decision to challenge the hegemony of the US dollar by agreeing to settle import transactions in their national currencies. This historic agreement reached between the influential members of the BRICS group marked a new era in the quest to reduce dependence on the US dollar and the Western financial system. The BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, have long advocated for a more balanced and equitable global economic architecture. Under the deal, 50% of the Maldives' new $1.5 billion import contracts will be paid in Indian rupees and Chinese yuan. This equates to approximately $750 million in domestic currencies, significantly reducing the need to use the US dollar in trade settlements. The main objective is to reduce dependence on the dollar, which has dominated international trade for decades. By switching to settlements in national currencies, India and China are seeking to strengthen their economic sovereignty and protect themselves from the risks associated with dollar fluctuations. This move offers significant economic advantages. The use of rupee and yuan will reduce transaction costs by eliminating the need for currency conversion with its attendant fees and exchange rate risks. It will also increase the stability of bilateral trade by reducing the impact of dollar volatility on the value of imports and exports. The Maldives is playing a key role as an intermediary in the deal, emphasizing its growing importance in regional trade processes. Maldives Minister of Economic Development Mohammed Saeed confirmed that historic agreement, noting his country's proactive stance in strengthening ties with its giant neighbors. The move away from the dollar is part of a larger strategy by the BRICS countries to de-dollarize their economies. The desire to reduce dependence on U.S. monetary policy, which has a major impact on dollar-oriented nations, is at the heart of these efforts. Within BRICS, steps are already being taken to create alternative financial institutions, such as the New Development Bank, designed to finance infrastructure projects using local currencies. For India, the agreement opens up opportunities to expand trade ties with China, its largest trading partner. Settlement in rupees will help reduce currency risks and strengthen the international status of India's currency. It will provide greater stability in import costs and allow Indian businesses to plan their finances more efficiently. For China, the use of the RMB in international trade is an important step in a long-term strategy to increase the global role of the national currency and reduce dependence on the dollar. The yuan's growing presence in global markets will strengthen China's financial clout and promote its trade and economic interests, including in its relations with India. One of the key consequences could be a gradual reduction in demand for the US dollar. Given the scale of trade between India, China, and the Maldives, the abandonment of dollar settlements will lead to a significant reduction in dollar-denominated transactions. This will weaken the position of the US currency, affecting the global foreign exchange market, the value of the dollar, and its status as a major reserve currency. The India-China agreement is likely to set a precedent for other BRICS countries and nations wishing to reduce dependence on the dollar in international trade. Successful implementation of this model could encourage other countries to enter into similar trade deals, leading to a more diversified global financial system. However, there are some concerns about the immediate effects on the economies of the countries involved. One of the main concerns is the possible increase in currency turbulence and sharp fluctuations in the exchange rates of the rupee and yuan against other currencies. The shift to settlements in national currencies creates new currency risks. In addition, settlements in national currencies are fraught with risks of trade imbalances and payment delays. If import and export flows between India and China were to diverge significantly, this could lead to large balance of payments deficits and surpluses, undermining business confidence and impeding trade flows. Despite the potential difficulties, the expert community's reaction to the agreement is generally positive. Many believe it will strengthen India-China economic cooperation, expand bilateral trade, attract investment, and create jobs. The agreement is also seen as a step toward deepening regional integration in South Asia and the Asia-Pacific. Analysts believe that the transition to settlements in national currencies will allow China, India, and Maldives to diversify their foreign exchange reserves, reduce risk exposure, and strengthen financial resilience to possible shocks in the global economy. At the same time, the initiative raises serious geopolitical tensions. By challenging the dollar's dominance, the world's two largest economies are effectively undermining the U.S. economy. Importantly, the initiative by India and China to abandon the dollar in import trade represents a serious challenge to the traditional dominance of Western financial institutions and monetary systems. The United States, for whom the dollar is a key instrument of global economic influence, likely views this agreement as a direct threat to its interests. For decades, the dollar has reinforced U.S. hegemony in the global economy, and any erosion of its dominance undermines this status quo. Therefore, it is possible that Washington could respond by imposing economic sanctions or other restrictive measures on India, China, and other countries involved in the de-dollarization process. The U.S. could view these actions as a direct attack on the global financial order, which it controls and from which it derives significant benefits. Nevertheless, the agreement symbolizes the growing desire of developing countries for a fairer and more balanced international economic system that does not depend entirely on a single superpower. The BRICS group has long criticized the current world order as unfair to fast-growing economies and advocated reforms. The success of India and China's initiative may inspire other developing countries to follow suit and take steps to reduce their dependence on the dollar and strengthen their national currencies. Should more nations join this movement, it will further diversify the global monetary system. Instead of being dominated by a single reserve currency, several key currencies representing different economic centers of power could emerge in international financial markets and trade settlements. Such a multipolar currency landscape would certainly be fairer and more balanced for developing economies, which would no longer be overly dependent on the monetary policies of a single superpower. However, the transition to this new paradigm is likely to be accompanied by a period of turbulence and tension in geopolitical and trade and economic relations. A change in the established order will inevitably meet resistance from existing players seeking to protect their privileges. It is also important to keep in mind that the India-China agreement could have a significant impact on global energy markets and oil and gas trade. Much of these transactions have traditionally been denominated in US dollars, and the abandonment of the dollar in favor of national currencies could cause major shifts in this area. Energy giants such as Russia, Iran, and the Gulf states may also consider diversifying their currency basket for energy payments. This could further weaken the dollar's role as the dominant currency in these markets, critical to the global economy. Overall, despite the potential difficulties and risks, the India-China initiative marks an important milestone in the gradual shift in the global economic balance of power. While the road to a new, more multipolar financial system is likely to be long and thorny, it offers the potential for a more equitable and inclusive global economic order. In this new order, emerging powers such as India and China will be able to play a more prominent role commensurate with their growing economic weight. And while the transition to it will not be smooth, it could ultimately lead to greater stability and prosperity for the world. We hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to give us a like, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell so you don't miss out on new and exciting videos. Stay tuned, there's more to come. See you soon and all the best.